This is his Freedom Man Radio's Bitcoin history. That is $1.5 million that he's withdrawn in the past 2 months.
12 years I have been standing in the public square, cajoling and joking and singing and begging, I need a job. This is like watching a bouncing bloody ball go down the stairs, one by one.
Like that Charlottesville thing, when you saw those guys walking down the street with those citronella Home Depot torches screaming white lives matter, might be a lot of closet racists out there.
The statue of Robert E. Lee was being taken down and they didn't like that. Do you know there's a statue of Vladimir Lenin in Seattle? I think that's highly offensive. I think it should stay up though. I think it should stay up. I think it should stay up. I think it should stay up. I think it should stay up.
This week it's Robert E. Lee. Where does it stop?
The Confederate flag flying above the State House in South Carolina. Do you think it needs to go?
I think it probably does, and I think they should put it in the museum, let it go, but I would take it down, yes.
The rally drew a grand total of fewer than 500 people. This is not exactly Germany in 1933. The rally attendees were in a fairly small area. They were ringed by leftist protesters and agitators and violent types.
Look at this thing!
Violent types.
White lives matter!
Violent types.
There's commie scum!
If you continue to escalate in language, then it results in this kind of violence. When you're going to call people Nazis and they must be smashed, that is an open declaration of the intent to kill. I have continually and perpetually called for reason versus aggression, for conversation versus violence, and a lot of people didn't listen. Humanity really likes to fight. Free speech is the only thing.
We're proud to be white!
There's speech out there that I hate.
STEFAN MolyneuX. I was absolutely horrified by the level of dishonesty, the disingenuous nature of this complete fraud.
There are people out there who hate your speech. There are people out there who hate my speech. And how you can finally be free.
First of all, the guy narrating it might be the most arrogant cunt I've ever heard in my life.
Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us!
If we allow an extremity of emotion to silence people, engage. Listen, I do a call-in show, and we have it out in a public forum. Let them speak.
If you look at your video history on YouTube, almost endless support for Trump.
Okay, I'm done. Moving on to the next caller. Thanks very much for your call. It was really enjoyable, but I am so done. And this is what they do. This is what people who want to control speech, who want to shut off debate, what do? Okay, I'm done. They find the most unpopular group that could possibly be imagined.
Get out of here, you commie scum!
And they say, well, if you defend their free speech somehow, you're pro their position, right? I know there's supposed to be this, let's all come together. But the first thing I saw was punch a Nazi. Punch a Nazi. Punch a Nazi. You can punch Nazis. Punch a Nazi. And then guess what? The definition of Nazi began to spread just a little bit. Do you remember that? A Nazi is now...
We're a white nation, founded by and for the white man.
A Nazi is now...
What they fought for wasn't slavery.
A Nazi is now...
He has Nazi symbol tattoos like this SS and says he supports Hitler because he is of German descent.
A Nazi is now...
Donald Trump, who does not give his daughter to a Jew.
Alex Fields Jr. is to blame. He committed an act of terrorism.
A young man who has bound mother, no father in the home. And this young man, to me at least, clearly suffering from mental illness. A young man who has bound mother, no father in the home, and this young man, to me at least, clearly suffering from mental illness.
My recent book, I prove that racism does not exist.
Well, if you look at history, look at history, look at history, look at history, look at history. Martin Luther King, he was a liar.
I'll produce my tax returns.
FBI surveillance showed that King had dozens of extramarital affairs.
Grab him by the pussy.
Oh, who else is a Nazi?
This may look like last weekend's rally with torches in Charlottesville, Except it's not. This happens every year, sometimes even twice a year, in the heart of Europe.
Obama did not condemn the race hatred fueled by certain elements within Black Lives Matter when Micah Johnson gunned down 5 cops.
That there has been a vicious, calculated, and despicable attack. 5 were killed.
Let's look at the numbers, right? Since 9/11, an average of 9 American Muslims per year have been involved in an average of 6 terrorism-related plots against targets in the U.S. In contrast, right-wing extremists have averaged 337 attacks per year in the decade after 9/11, causing 254 fatalities.
My name is Emil, and I'm proud to be an American Muslim.
We are all American Muslims.
Really, really, it's not that easy to blend when you don't look the same. I'm sick of being called a racist.